Good evening and welcome to the initial organizational meeting of the Commission on Disability for the City of Chicopee. I'm Al Kendall, Chair of the Commission. And we'll now have a moment of silence to honor and encourage all who are limited by disabilities.
Point of information, Mr. Chair, what time do we call the meeting to order?
Calling the meeting order at 6:30. Moment of silence. I'll make a roll call of commissioners. And Secretary, would you call the roll? Present.
ADA Compliance Officer, Steve.
At present.
Mitch. Nancy Shepherd Murray, that's me, I'm present. Vice Chair, Amy. Present. Vice Chair, Amy, we have Atara, Artis Carr.
Artis Carr,
Artis
present.
Carr. Yeah. Wilhelmina Humphreys. And Paul.
Present.
And the alternate is Gary Bousset.
I'm asking anyone to mute their phone, and I want to make sure mine is muted. This is a live broadcast of the Commission on Disability meeting, which is more of an informational meeting at this point, and the organizational by the election of officers for this year, and to provide information to the commissioners and the public on different aspects of and the purpose of and the workings of the Commission on Disability. We have a Zoom connection, but we have anyone? There are no participants on Zoom. In compliance with the open meeting laws of the City of Chicopee, the City of Chicopee is recording this meeting for a future broadcast. Is anyone else in the audience taping this meeting? If so, please state your name and organization. Seeing none, we will proceed with the meeting. First of all, I want to welcome the commissioners. Thank you for your assistance and help over the past year, especially. However, we have had a history of activities for almost 14 years that I've been on the commission. And there are a number of things that have been done, and there are a number of procedures that have been updated, and there are a number of situations that we have experienced. Our main purpose as a commission is to assure safety and access to persons with disabilities in the community. Actually, this benefits everyone. Your ease to get in and out of a building, whether you're temporarily injured or disabled or limited in any way, and to be assured of safe access on the streets, on the sidewalks, and in your going about the city of Chicopee is important to the commission. We also provide accommodations for review requests for and provide accommodations for persons with disabilities who need assistance in some way to get in and out of their homes or to have certain benefits available to them that we can encourage them, help them, or find ways to be helpful, because we are not only a government organization with a federal mandate, but we are also concerned citizens, and we are volunteers, and we are appointed by the mayor, and we are confirmed by the city council. I am very grateful for the past 3 mayors who considered me worthy enough to continue and to work in this area and to be helpful to the citizens of Chicopee. As a commissioner, there have been many situations that I've been involved in, and I have made it a practice to talk to a lot of people and invite them to be considered for the commission, or to work with the commission, or to help the commission with their talent, their ideas, their abilities, their specific interests. And I extend that wish that more citizens of Chicopee would be interested in knowing about the commission, responding to requests from the commission to be helpful, and to be the kind of support that working together and being a community will make Chicopee one of the best places that anyone can live in safely, with the assurance that the highways and the byways and where we live comply with reasonable consideration for everyone. Every person is valuable. Every person is entitled to being treated with respect and to be treated with a caring and a compassionate understanding, because all of us are limited and all of us are fragile and all of us are subject to human problems. I appreciate what has been done, and there is a lot to be done. And over the next several months, we will be bringing a lot of information together, and we will be assuming certain responsibilities. We are limited only by the number of people who can be helpful to us and who can help us to complete projects and to respond to the needs of the city. The basic problem that we have had is the basic problem that everyone has. As human beings, we are limited. We make mistakes. We suffer different things at different times. We are inconvenienced. And there is a general malaise with which we all have to deal. There are people who have no consideration for others, and we appreciate and welcome them to change that attitude. But that takes time. It takes education. And it takes the willingness of everyone to be concerned about each other. Working together, we can do anything and everything. But working separately or looking for our own interests or following our own agenda, we can't accomplish very much. And that goes for
Point of
everything.
information of the chair. Mr. Chairman,
Second.
sorry to interrupt. We do need to follow the agenda according to open meeting laws, though.
Yep. The second effort that we have to make now is to call for nominations for secretary and for treasurer. So I open the floor for consideration, nominations for secretary.
I'd like to nominate Steve for secretary. Steve?
Steve? Okay. there any other nominations?
I'd like to nominate Nancy Shepherd Murray. Nancy Shepherd Murray for secretary.
Okay.
I'd
We
like
have
to
two
nominate Nancy Shepherd.
We have two nominees. Okay. Do I hear a second on those nominations? Okay. Is there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations?
Motion to close.
To close nominations.
Okay, nominations are, motion has been made. There's a second to close nominations for secretary.
Second to close.
So ordered. We will now have a vote for an individual, we'll have a public vote for secretary. All in favor of Steve as secretary, please so indicate by a raise of hands. Okay, we have 3. Okay. All those who wish to nominate Nancy for secretary. Okay, we have 4. All right, so the chair does not have to vote to make a change that Nancy is nominated as secretary. Do you accept? Roll.
Congratulations, Commissioner Shepherd
I'm
Murray.
now going to proceed with the nomination of the chair and vice chair positions, and I'm asking Nancy to assume the role of chair during that effort.
Do we need to do nominations for treasurer first?
Nominations for treasurer.
I'd like to nominate Commissioner Carr.
Second.
I'll second.
Okay. Do you have any other?
Any other nominations for treasurer?
I nominate Wilhelmina.
Any other
Can I-
nominations?
Can we explain what a treasurer does? Can we?
Well, just to answer your question, Wilhelmina, the treasurer in the past has been the custodian of our budget, which has been around $1,000. So it's not a lot of work, but you're on the executive committee of the commission. Do you understand me? You don't want that.
The Wilhelmina, my nomination. Any other nominations for treasurer? There are none.
Motion to close nominations for treasurer.
Second.
No other nominations. So we're gonna vote for, what's Artis? How many want Artis? 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. And, it seems like,
Anyone opposed?
anyone opposed?
Next vote would be for chair.
Congratulations, Commissioner Carr.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I'd like to make a motion to nominate Mitch Kulig for vice chair.
The nominations for vice chair is Mitch.
I'd like to nominate Mitch Kulig.
I second.
Do it, Ortiz. Youth.
Any other nominations?
I nominate Amy.
I'd like to nominate Paul. So for vice chair, we have Mitch, Amy, Paul. Any others?
Motion to close nominations.
Second to close.
So by vote, show of hands, for vice chair, Mitch, Amy, and Paul. By, vice chair, Mitch.
Congratulations, Chair, Commissioner Kulig.
Thank you, thank you. I'd like to nominate Amy for, chair.
I second.
Any other nominations for chair?
Al Kendall.
Nominations for chair.
Make a motion, nominations be closed.
Second motion to close.
For chair, Amy. I would like to vote for Amy.
Are we doing a ballot or?
Are
I
we-
don't know.
No, we done
No.
did it for vice,
Yeah.
so.
Amy, you got 4. And chair for Al. The chair is Amy.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Amy.
I'd like to make a motion that we create a position of Chair Emeritus. I'd like to nominate Al Kendall.
I second
I
that motion.
that.
Second,
That person will be our wisdom person that will provide guidance and wisdom to our commission. Make a motion to close nominations.
Close nominations. I
Close
second.
nominations.
second,
Can I have a vote for nominees for chair would be Al,
Chair Emeritus, yeah.
Chair Emeritus.
congratulations, Al.
Chair Emeritus is Al.
Congratulations, Commissioner Kendall.
I personally abstained because of conflict of interest. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Amy, would you like to assume the chairmanship, or do you want me to continue through the program for you this evening?
I can continue. We can do it together, Al.
Pardon?
We can do it together. I
Okay,
can do it.
sure.
But it's, thank you everyone for your nominations. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Got some big shoes to fill and can't wait to work collaboratively with Al because he does have so much knowledge. So it's going to be great to really work closely with everyone and try to get our bearings together. So thank you.
You do have to wear better suits than Al.
I know. I have to do my ball gown shopping. It's like prom all over again, right?
I made it to, how do you want to continue with the thing, and then we summarize as comments from chairs that I mean, each of the commissioners that I can continue just closing.
Yeah, we can, when we do the closing part and the commissioner updates, absolutely finish up
Sure.
what you,
Do you want us to hear?
no, I'm okay here. I don't, spotlight's not my thing.
Congratulations to everyone, and thank you for your confidence.
Congratulations, everyone. Thank you.
And that, all of these officers are, except the chair emeritus, I guess, lives on, but all of the officers are elected, duly elected for this coming year. Go ahead, Amy.
Okay. On the agenda next is to talk about role reminders of the commission process, outlines, and the future. I think a lot of it is going to be a reminder that as we are one, we are going to bring things here and do a vote on things, so that it's not just one person working on things. I think a lot, Al, Mitch, and Paul, I don't know how long you've been with the commission, but I assume like you've been here for a little bit too. You guys have taken things and kind of run with it and haven't had a lot of support. And I'm really great to kind of see that we have a lot of great talent in this room, that we can kind of spread that wealth of knowledge and be able to really conquer and divide for the citizens of Chicopee, and be able to really think about how to better get accommodations and accessibility within our city. I think one of the things is to kind of, we're meet monthly, and I think that's one of the things we wanted to talk about today. I think in the past it's been the fourth Monday of every month from 6:30 to 8:30, and we'd like to continue that going forward. Here, having a Zoom link for those that are not able to join us in person, because there's always going to be that time, right? But able to be a active commission. I think that's what we want to take out of this, is being very active, but being able to really think about how and what projects need to be have input on, and then coming together and voting on it as one, and we can kind of figure out how to go forward with that. The other part of it is to a reminder that as commissioners of the city of Chicopee, we are obligated to think about the state ethics laws and the state ethics that apply to us. We will have some more written up for that, just so that everyone can have it in their email, just so that we can all follow those guidelines and make sure that everyone knows that. Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you, Chairman Partlow. Just to let all of you know, because we do fall under the state ethics guidelines, I will be emailing out to all of you a link for the state ethics training. It's about a maybe 40-minute video produced by the Massachusetts State Department of Ethics. You'll need to watch that, and at the end, it's going to give you a little certificate that says that you've completed the training. You'll print out that certificate and make sure we turn that in so we have that on file. That way, if they ever ask us if we've got ethics training for our commissioners, we'll have that available. Every 2 years, we have to renew that ethics training. So we want to make sure that we get that done, hopefully within the next couple of weeks. So I'll get that out to everybody in the email tomorrow. If you could, let's set a deadline of maybe next Friday, if we possibly can, to get that ethics training completed and get those forms either scanned in or just drop them at the office and get them over to Amy, but we've got to have those on file. Okay. And just please keep in mind that we are under ethics guidelines, so that does concern like gifts and gratuities. If we're out to lunch and people want to buy lunches, or, as a commissioner now, you've got to think more global of, I'm a commissioner for the city and I fall under ethics guidelines. So we have to be very careful what we do, because people scrutinize that. As a city official, I run into that all the time when I'm out and have to make sure that I'm watching what I'm doing as an ethics person. So thank you.
Thank you. Along with the state ethics guidelines, I also know that there is the open meeting law webinar that they have, and we can send out that link. It'd be great if everyone can watch it, just so that we're all on the same page about the open meeting laws and what is required of that. We can send that out. Yes, Ortiz. Oh, okay. Yeah, we'll send out the web. I think they do it like once a month or something like that. It'd be great just so that everyone knows what to expect for the open meeting laws. Because I think some of us, myself included, are very new to this. So we want to just make sure we understand all that. And something that we're excited to kind of talk about too is the commissioners working collaboratively with our city councilors, with ward city councilors. So building a great relationship. I think, Al, you have a really great relationship with all of them now. And I think right now they go right to you for a lot of things. And I think we want to start building a relationship between all of us with the city councilors, and especially the ones in our ward. And I think we'd like to work collaboratively so that if they do hear of something, of an accommodation issue, or they're concerned about something, they can call any one of us up, or the one in our district, to in their ward rather, to talk about what's going on and kind of see how we can work together, and then we can come together at a city at large. So it's not just putting one of us at the front of everything. It's really kind of dividing it up, conquering it, and also building that relationship better with our city councilors. So, yes, Wilhelmina. I think kind of getting the ward city councilors either to a meeting or seeing if we can get a meeting with them, and kind of just working with them together, giving them our contact information, and then having them either come to a meeting here, or maybe we get to go to a city council meeting.
So if I may.
Absolutely,
Okay.
Steve. This is
So this
take
is
it away.
this is actually something that came through President Laflamme as president of our city council, and talking about building more of a community partnership with the Disability Commission. So what he'd like us to do is identify each ward. So for instance, we have Ward 2. If any of you live in Ward 2 and want to be that representative for that city councilor, the way it's going to need to work, because we have 4 at large and then 9 ward city councilors, is each one would be assigned to a ward city councilor, but then those 4 at large would also be able to contact that person, say, for that ward. So if they get a call, for example, if Councilor Roy, as an at-large, gets a call from somebody in Ward 2, he would be able to then reach out to that ADA, to the Disability Commissioner from Ward 2, but you would also work with that ward councilor as well. So it builds that more of a relationship with them. The ward councilors also every quarter, I believe, Mitch, if they do ward meetings, like Ward 5, Fred Krampitz has his meetings. So that would be an opportunity for the ward councilor to also bring the Disability Commissioner with them. So you're at that ward meeting. So if you've got people that are at that ward meeting that have disability issues that want to talk about it, you're there and available to be able to help answer. So it builds that. It's almost like they're working together to really help the issues in their ward. So what he had asked me to do is, if we could get together after this meeting, if you could let me know if there's a ward you live in. Now, I know we've got a couple of people from Ward 3. So we may have to take like a Ward 3 person and give them to another person. So we'll just figure all that out. But he wants me to give him a list of each commissioner and which counselor they're going to pair with. And then what he'll do is he'll send an email out saying, as of going forward, this is the way it's going to work. And then my hope would be at the next city council meeting, we'll bring all of you to that meeting and introduce you to those counselors so you can start talking to them and decide about working with them. Just building that collaboration. President Laflamme is excited because he thinks it'll really help, especially with outreach for the commission, for people to know that we're very visible and we're part of the wards and part of the community. So there's 9 wards and 4 at large. So the at large, so you'd have, like, let's say, Wilhelmina, for example, you were in Ward 4. You would be assigned to that Ward 4 counselor, and anything for Ward 4 would also, so your name would go to the Ward 4 counselor and the 4 at large. So they can reach out to any of them, because the at large doesn't have a specific ward, they're through the whole city. Exactly. So like I live in Ward 2. I know Mitch is in Ward 5. I believe Al's in 3. Ortiz is in 3. Paul, are you in 3? You're in 7. Nancy, you're in 4. So that would be, so as we, like, if I'm like Ward 5, it would make sense to put Mitch with Councilor Krampitz, because that's his ward counselor already. So then they're already working in that ward. But if we have to split because we got too many people, President Laflamme understands that. But it's just, we just thought it was a kind of a good way to really start building the commission and getting them interactive in the city and showing people we do have an active commissioner that's there to help them as well. and they know who to call instead of, trying to reach out to me if I'm not available or whatever. I think it'll be a really good process to work with.
Madam Chair, but I think it would be a good idea too, sometimes if, people can attend the, council meetings. See, to show our presence there and that they know, how we're doing something with the city. So, we can, have things go, kind of smooth. If we're gonna be with an alderman or whoever.
I think that's a great idea. So we can, when we can get the calendar out of the council meetings, when we send out an email with everything else today, so that everybody has that. It may also be a great idea to piggyback that on to meeting with our school council, our school committee council too, to just let them know who we are. Because I know that we've talked about before the Berry School, they're building a new Berry School. So we want to make sure that they know who we are so that they think about us. I think wanting to make sure that we build those relationships. And that doesn't mean we have to all attend every meeting and everything, but I think just making
Presence.
whether it
Yeah.
just be one or a couple of us, or we rotate it, and we can come up with that too.
So one of the things, just that you all understand too, so I know Amy went around earlier and took pictures of all of you for our wall of fame. What those are for is those are for our city ID. So all of us now, I don't know if you've seen Al's, but Al wears a city Commission on Disability. It's a city ID. All the employees have them. Our commissioners are having them. The reason we're doing that is that when they're out in the community, they're identifiable as a city official that is out doing business for the city. So yours will have a new look. It won't look like the one that Al has necessarily. It's like a picture. Al, can you show them do you have yours? You don't have it? Okay. But it'll have your picture. It'll say Commission on Disability with your name. And then it's going to say Commissioner. It's going to have a band. It's going to have a band up the side that says Commissioner.
It'll be something like this.
Yeah.
Have your name and the official.
That will assist you if you're out talking to somebody, they know that you're actually a commissioner instead of just somebody saying I work for, I represent the city, and they really don't. The city councilors all have them too, just as a safety issue. That way they're not talking to somebody. President Laflamme wants them all to be identified. So we're doing the same thing with the commissioners. So all those pictures that she took, I'll get those processed. I'll send them into our facilities team. They'll get the pictures onto the tags. We'll get those out to you hopefully within the next week or so. So that when you guys start doing your work out there, you'll have those to wear. And obviously when you're in City Hall, it helps to identify that you're part of the City Hall team, so.
Also, Amy, on the, Chicopee, City of Chicopee.gov, they'll give all the meetings and, where they're gonna take place and everything, so people can go online there and check out every meeting that's going on in the city.
Great. I'll make sure that we include that in that email too.
Yeah, it's
so
a
that
great
everybody
meeting to go
has
to
it.
just to see how things work too, to get the
Yeah,
feel for.
perfect. Thank you, Mitch. Any other questions or concerns regarding the process, outline, future, anything?
Chairman Parlow, are we going to send something out to the commissioners letting us know like deadlines for items for the agenda? I know we have to get things in a certain time in advance of the meetings, get them posted under open meeting law.
Yeah, so we have, if we're meeting the fourth Monday of every month, we should probably do the Wednesday prior, to make sure any agenda items are in.
Nancy, are you familiar with the,
Take a vote on that?
Yep,
yeah, are you familiar with the process of getting it all through the city clerk's office and getting it registered and getting the meeting room booked, or I can assist you with it?
I know that.
Okay. Yeah.
do we want to do Wednesday or Tuesday? Which,
Monday seem to work for everybody? Huh? That's what it's been, yeah.
do we want to put a vote to the fourth Monday?
I would. That time seems to work out good, especially for
Okay.
city council and other committee meetings too.
So
I make a motion that we meet the fourth Monday of every month from 6:30 to 8:30.
Second that.
Motion to close.
Okay. Vote, all in favor?
all in favor?
All in favor?
Motion passed.
Yes.
Now, if we have something to add, we have to have it in that, our meeting on that Monday, correct?
So the third Tuesday of every month, we'll ask for all agenda items to be in.
So just so that you guys understand how it works, so we have because of the open meeting laws, we have to, so the agenda has to be done by the chair. They have to get that submitted to the secretary. The secretary has to get to the city clerk's office. They have to file 2 official copies. That then gets placed onto the agenda to post our meeting. Our meetings have to be posted 48 hours in advance. Once it's posted, we really can't change that, and whatever's on the agenda is what we can discuss at that meeting. So there's action items and there's discussion items. So discussion items would fall more under your commissioner updates. Things that need voting and action would fall under the actual agenda. So if we've got something, Commissioner Carr, for your example, that we need to have in the agenda, we didn't get it in time, we could bring it up in discussion, but then put it on the next meeting to be voted on, because we can only have action items on the agenda. But there's a whole process involved with getting the rooms booked, getting it through city clerks. So that's where Commissioner Shepard Murray needs time as the secretary to be able to get all that in. So by having that deadline, we can get it to her. She can get everything she needs to get it submitted to the city clerk's office, and then get everything out to us in email, letting us know, here's the meeting packet, here's what's going to be discussed. So we can get that out ahead of time, so you guys have that to review.
So the third Tuesday of
Before-
every month.
yes.
So
Yeah.
let's put it to a vote for third Tuesday of every month by 5 p.m. That way we can get it to Nancy by Wednesday
Yes.
morning.
Yes.
So, we have a second? Second, okay. Thank you.
I'm in favor.
Okay, all right. Motion to close.
Close down.
All right, everybody vote. All right, good. We're here. Agenda will be sent, items for agenda will be sent in to myself and Mitch by Tuesday, the third Tuesday of every month by 5 p.m. And we will get it to Nancy by that Wednesday morning.
Right.
I'm just making notes for myself because
I am too.
I don't
We all
know.
are.
Okay. All right. And, all right. Next, the next set thing on the agenda is to review of disability/parking requests. So in this area of the agenda, if there is any parking requests that have come in from the city council or constituents, or any other disability requests that come in, we'll carry this over here onto this part of the agenda. One of the things that we want to kind of be is, because this is a public meeting, we want to try to be discreet. So as you see on the agenda, we have something regarding a local restaurant. And Mitch, I think you brought this up to us about one of the restaurants, that there was some ADA compliance issues.
Myself and I think Commissioner Kendall were working on this. I don't know if anything is gone, because we really didn't have an official meeting where we can go out and speak to them, and we can probably get things going on this particular place. That's so in the winter time people don't get hurt, or even even in the spring or summer too, going in there with a wheelchair, going off a little curb that they have. So we'll try to get things going in the right direction.
Okay. And can you, sorry, go ahead, Al.
Madam Chairman, I located our original letter to the owners of the place, so I have a copy of that for you.
Okay, that'll be good. So we'll continue to work on that.
Steve?
So I had put this on the agenda when we were working on this. I did have a couple of disabled parking requests that came through city council. However, they're kind of being questioned with city engineering, and we're having a meeting with city council to discuss, it's a housing authority issue, is it not a housing authority? So I took those off of there, because right now we don't want to bring those to this committee to vote on until we know more of what we're doing. The local restaurant one that's on here is actually different than what Mitch was talking about. So I did get a call from a constituent. He's going to be sending me an email. It is a local restaurant in the area. His son is a disabled quadriplegic. They were in the restaurant and it was very crowded. There was not a lot of space and accessible space to get them to their table in their wheelchair. He asked the staff at the restaurant, are they going to be okay to be able to get his son out when they're done eating, because he knew how busy the restaurant was? And their answer was, well, we're not really sure. You'll just have to kind of play it by ear, which kind of wasn't too thrilling. So he called me and said, is there any way we could reach out to this restaurant and try to either get them some training or make sure they're aware that they have to be accessible? So I wanted this group to be able to be aware of that. We can talk after the meeting with the name of the facility, but I'd like to make a motion or a recommendation that somebody from this body, maybe the vice chair or Al or somebody, reach out, kind of meet with them first before I send a letter as the ADA compliance officer and say, this is a really serious issue. We need to really comply with this. I'd like to reach out to them and kind of let them know we did have a concern from a constituent here in the city and hopefully get that resolved. So I just put that on there more for authorization to be able to send this to you guys to be able to work on. So if that's agreeable to everybody, I'd like to send that over.
Do we have 2 volunteers to look at this concern? Absolutely.
Whenever you have the ability. Yeah. Yeah.
I'll go with you.
So just so that you guys understand, I'm being new to the commission, how this all works. So you're really kind of that introductory body to, hey, we've been approached with an issue before the city gets involved.
Correct.
And starts giving you fines and not nice letters. We want to give you the opportunity to fix it. Exactly. We want to kind of be strong, and we have to make sure city buildings are accessible, and we kind of we can push the issue, but we don't really want to. So we want to talk to you about it first and let you know it's been brought up. And then if we don't see an improvement with that, then that's when I can reach out as the ADA compliance officer, send that follow-up letter. And the good thing is, I know Mitch has a good relationship with our building commissioner. That's when we can reach out to the building commissioner and say, look, 3 strikes. Now we need to get really serious and either fine them or whatever, because they're refusing to comply with the other 2 requests. So it's kind of like a start, a middle, and an end. So that's how we handle those when we have.
Start,
right.
we report back to you with how their attitude or their response was.
Right.
And then you take it from there.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would, yeah. But yeah, so you always have, as commissioners, you guys are there to kind of be that first defense to, like Al, I think, can give you an example. When he went to a local retail establishment and they had things blocked, and he's like, look, we can't be doing this. And he was very nice about it. And it continued. So then it had to go to the next level where the city had to send a letter and say, we're not joking. So that's how the commission really helps that process to happen. So we're still being those good neighbors and building those bridges with them, but there's also an enforcement piece of it that we may have to move to if we're not getting cooperation.
So basically what you explained to me.
Right. Yeah.
And so we'll, by the next meeting, have an update on, hopefully we'll have the badges by then, but have an update on, you guys could report out. And then Mitch, do you want to look at the restaurant that you and Al were working on before?
Yeah, we'll
Follow up on that?
follow up on that.
Okay,
Yeah, that'd be good.
okay, and then report out next meeting. Absolutely.
Can't hear you, Wilhelmina.
Well, if we're gonna have, if we're gonna have our badges, they already know what we're there for.
Yeah.
So we definitely can take notes.
And hopefully their
while
answers
we're
are going to be, yes, we understand, and we'll work with complying with it instead of
Right.
giving you a hard time.
there. That way they'll know we're
Yeah.
serious and maybe they'll take
Yeah.
And I think, Steve, you had mentioned about trying to build, talking with the housing committee, with the, is
Yeah,
that
so
what we're
when
planning?
President LaFlamme gets back from vacation, we're gonna have a
Perfect,
meeting to talk with the Housing Authority, engineering, to
perfect.
kind of resolve some of these parking issues we're having. So I'll give you guys more of an update on that one.
Great. Great. And then, any other questions about the agenda item regarding review of disability or parking requests? Next, we have the review of the Disability Commission PSA. I think number 7, Al had a bunch of interns working with him this summer. And one of the things that they had worked on was a PSA with the city of Chicopee, TV. So,
Go ahead and play that now.
Sure, it was a fun experience.
Al, can we get your autograph? Because this is a really great video.
Pardon?
Can we get your autograph? It's a really great video.
My little one helped also.
okay, great job.
Want my autograph?
Go ahead and play it, yeah.
Huh? It was
Excuse me.
60. Go ahead.
We can't hear it.
Oh.
Can you turn the volume up a little bit?
Thank you.
Sorry. Nah, this isn't gonna work. Let's go. I think we should just go home.
No, let's go on. I got one more place.
You sure?
Yeah. It's a really nice place, and I think you did it easily.
Yeah, I know, it's really nice. Hey, thank you.
Thank you. Are you having a good day so far?
No, yeah.
Enjoy.
So I just want to commend our interns that Al worked with. They put that PSA together with Chicopee TV. Chicopee TV is, what they're looking for is because everything has to be approved through the commission. So I wanted to show that tonight, commend Al on his work with the interns. Congratulations, it turned out really good. You ready for Hollywood?
It did, and if I may add just something quickly, with the interns, last year we had 10, and there was more money apparently, and they received funds of $25,000 for the
Cool.
summer, which wasn't bad work. We accomplished more, but we accomplished some things. But this year we wanted to do something a little bit more spectacular. So the PSA opportunity and the Chicopee TV, I appreciate Wade's help and putting this thing together. And he tried to convince us that this was easy. It looks much easier than it is, but we had a lot of fun, and I appreciate what the interns did. And the interns came together, and the 3 things that I did with them is, one is I tried to introduce them to the ADA. They apparently did actually listen to me, except when Wade asked them after being with me 3 weeks, did they know anything? What did they know about the ADA? And they all got quiet. So I took care of that in a subsequent meeting, indicating to them that they must listen and remember things. Second part of it was I taught them and introduced them to artificial intelligence with both the good and bad side, because the benefit is it's a very helpful thing, but you have to be cautious. There are bad features, and it can be used like anything in a bad way. However, what it does is it gives us information clearly, quickly, and has improved my ability to communicate and get things done as well, because I don't use it particularly as it comes out, but it helps me in my structuring. So, and they had excellent opportunity to be helpful with the farmers market, which is excellent provision for the excellent support for the community, and they're hardworking people there, and they should be supported by the community.
Cool. Thank you. So Chicopee TV mainly was asking, they sent it over to me and said, you got to see this. It's like really Hollywood quality. Thanks to our Tace and her husband and son, they were over there helping out. For those of you that don't know, Chicopee TV is a publicly funded, we get federal funds, and they're wanting people in the city to be able to use that studio and that facility, and hardly anybody ever does. They teach you how to produce things, and it's a phenomenal resource for us to have. But what they were looking for is our approval to go ahead and run that on their Chicopee TV channels as a public service announcement, so that it gets out there and people start seeing that when they're watching the city council meeting or they're watching a basketball game and they go to a commercial break and they play the PSAs, that would be on there. So as long as we want to authorize that this evening, we can go ahead and authorize them to do that.
Yes.
They're based at Chicopee Campus citywide, so it's Chicopee TV. So we get federal PEG funding, and that grant pays for us to have that. It's a public television studio, which we're very fortunate in Western Mass because not a lot of communities have that, and it's open to the entire public. So if Mitch, for example, wants to go produce a show, if you haven't seen lately, I know Grace Schofield, who's on the school committee, does a What's Cooking Chicopee, and she goes out to like different restaurants and does restaurant reviews. So she has a little like 20-minute show on, and it's really cool. They have like little video segments they do. They broadcast like our tree lighting. They do, high school graduations, games. They've got actually student people that go out and run cameras. So that facility is for anybody in the city that wants to use it to do video production type stuff and PSAs. They've got a whole television studio. If we wanted to go and have a disability roundtable and, be on TV and be broadcasting, we could do that as a service to the city. So there's just, the sky's the limit. So I know Commissioner Carr's gotten to go over there. I tried to set up an appointment, but we do have a new chief information officer for the city, and he is very wanting to work with us and help get our word out there. So I would like to try to set up a meeting time, maybe sometime late September, early October, when we can go over and meet with him as a commission, and he can bring us through, show us all the technological capabilities that the studio has, and we might think of more things we want to do in the future when we look at the PSAs. But Al, thank you, because it came out really good.
Great job, Al.
Yeah. Tom Cruise got nothing on you.
We have a motion.
I say go ahead. Motion to accept.
Second.
Motion to close.
Motion to close. Second.
All in favor? The only thing I have is we have to check the spelling on accessibility on the very last slide. Add 1C instead of 2. That's it.
We'll get with Chicopee TV and let them know.
Perfect.
Al, if you want to give autographs at the end of the meeting, we'll accept them. Thank you.
Absolutely. So that's passed.
I have this special charity that I contribute to, and they have established a flat rate for everyone for my signature.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. We have next item on the agenda is city 88 audit update. It's that's great.
Okay. So one of my roles as the ADA compliance officer is to make sure that our city audit for ADA compliance and our what's called our transition plan are up to date. And I'm going to come to this commission. I'm going to be very upfront and tell you it is extremely old and we need to redo it. But it is a tedious, very time-consuming process. A lot of municipalities look at hiring consultants and companies to come in and help them redo it because it's just such a time-consuming process that we would never be able to fit all that time in a day to really do it and do an accurate, thorough job. We need to start looking at getting our ADA audit done, but I can tell you that on the average, consultants are going to run us about $60,000 to come in and help us with that process unless we do it in bits and pieces. It's not something that has to be done all in 1 year. So if we want to pick pieces of the city and start focusing on those, we can. One of the things that I want to talk to you guys about tonight is we do have and I'm researching more, but we do have a platform. It's a software platform we can purchase called Blue Dag. It's used by cities and municipalities throughout the country. And what it is the cloud-based system where we would buy the program. It would go onto our city computer, and you can actually go on there and say, okay, we want to assess, say, DPW. We can have somebody at DPW with their phone. We can send them a link. They can do the whole audit right on their phone and send all that information back to that web-based system. And then that way, all the information gets stored into our, so we actually have a living archives of what our audit is looking like, and we can go in and fix things and update as we need to. It's not something we've ever had. Right now, it's a 400-page document from, I won't tell you how long ago, many mayoral administrations ago. That is one copy. It's hand-typed, and it's just needs phenomenally out of date. And it's something we need to start doing to be ADA compliant as a city. But we also need to realistically think about how we want to tackle this, because the money right now is just going to be a really, I'm going to have to go to city council and ask for an exorbitant amount of money. And I'm not sure if we want to do a big chunk all at once or if we want to take it in phases. So it's something we don't have to make a motion and necessarily vote on anything tonight, but in the next meeting or so, I'd like to kind of talk about, let's think about this. What's out there? How do we want to approach this? I can start getting some more bids and estimates on programs and stuff that'll do that. But we've got to start, the Department of Justice is who finds cities and towns. And when I was out at my conference, which I'll talk about in a little bit, I had a lot of good stuff from the Department of Justice people that are like, we're looking at cities and towns that are really old, because those are the ones that they're like, there's probably problems. So we want to be up to date, so we're not on their radar that there could be potential issues that then you get fined for because now you're not in compliance. So I would like this body to just ask you to think about how we might want to do this going forward. If it's going to be a big chunk of money, do we want to get a consultant? Do we want to try to find somebody that we can hire to help us? I don't know. We got to look at the money situation. I'll see what else is out there. But if any of you find anything for like ADA audits as well, let me know. But just please keep that all in the back of your mind as a resource item for maybe the next couple of meetings.
Now, is this something that the treasury would be involved in, the treasurer?
Well,
Or
so
the whole committee?
right now, all of your, anything having to do with ADA compliance right now comes out of my HR budget. So that's where I need to say, okay, now I don't want to drain my HR budget, but I might need to ask the city council for an appropriation of 60 grand to say we need to bring this person and do an ADA audit. But then all of this group is going to have to help be involved in that audit. So the way that it works, just so that you understand, is on my HR side, I have an HR team, but on my ADA side, this is my staff. You all are my team and my staff to help me get the ADA stuff done for the city.
Okay, I just want to
So
make sure.
I
wasn't
really
doing
have
all of
two
that by
roles.
myself.
So yeah, so
Okay.
yeah, it's just something that's just a big expense. And if we need to talk about, do we really want to go to and ask for that expense? What's the long-term benefit of doing that before we just jump to a conclusion and say, let's do it? And then, I'd like to research a little bit and see what's out there.
We'll talk about it, because I
Yeah.
have a few questions.
Okay. So Americans with Disabilities Act. Yeah. 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 So every city, town, municipality, state government, they're all supposed to have ADA audits done and then transition plans in place. So transition plan is the deficiencies you found in your audit and what you're doing to approach fixing them. It doesn't have to be fixed immediately, but it's kind of a long range goal of, okay, when we get grant funding or if we have budget money, we need to appropriate that toward fixing this. So for example, for those of you that don't know, we're going to be going through what's called a phase 2 renovation in City Hall. Our lift, so when you go from this annex building into the actual City Hall to the mayor's office, you go down a flight of stairs. Those stairs are not accessible for ADA accessibility. So they normally have a lift, if you notice it there. Well, that lift is broken. Technically, we're in an ADA violation because somebody coming into this building cannot have access to that office, and we're denying the public access to being there. Because we're a historical building, we're going through phase 2 renovation, we do have a waiver from the state that allows us a certain amount of time to get through that phase 2 to not have that lift fixed. However, our planning department went out to Mass Office of Disability, applied for one of their grants that they have, and they have awarded us $65,000 to fix the lift. We were going to be able to fix it, and bring the contractors and stuff in. But because the process got delayed too long with the city council and deciding on phase 2, we lost that grant and we had to turn that back into the state. So now we've lost out on a tremendous opportunity to get the ADA compliance fixed for that ramp until we go a little bit further for phase 2. So now it's going to cost us more in the future. So that ADA audit would identify things like that. And we'd say, okay, this ramp's a priority. So then in our transition plan, that might be one of the first things we want to work on in that plan, because we're saying this is crucial. It's hindering people's access to something. So we need to, appropriate money to fix that. It's kind of like our road plan of how we want to fix things in the city. What's priority, second on the list, third on the list, fourth on the list going forward.
Yep.
It just gives us kind of that vision and that roadblock. And that's where this commission, the city relies on them to say, what do we need to do to make us ADA compliant and how do we get there? And by working with me and this team, that's what we do, is we use that audit to identify the needs and then put our transition plan based on those needs and present that to the city and say, here's what our plan is. And that plan is what I call living. It's always changing. As we work on something, we add something to it. As we, say, okay, let's work on part of it, and then the next year work on the other. It's a fluid document that just keeps moving, but it's keeping us in our minds. We've got 88 things we need to fix, and let's fix them. So it's something I just need you guys to really think about going forward as to how we want to approach doing this. Because I will tell you, there's nobody on Zoom. Our plan is from the Chessie administration, which was back in '94. So we're about 30 years past due. So I'm sure there's a lot in 30 years we need to fix. So thank you for your time.
Steve, if I may add to that, I believe I sent the message from Boston that shortly the disability grants will be opened up shortly, and that $5 million has been allocated for this coming round of grants.
I don't know if they've put in for another grant for that yet.
Yeah, I sent a note to you because they sent a note out, announcement that
that you're eligible to apply for grants. Yeah, I just don't know if Lee has. So I got to get with Lee and find out if he's put that in.
but we know there's money there now.
Yeah. And we've got some good working relationship with Mass Office on Disability, so that might help us. That's the other thing I'll talk about in my little report, but go ahead and I'll bring that up later.
Nope, that's okay. I think one of the questions was, do we want to talk about it as a group and come up with discussions about what's the best way to go about this? Do we want to have a subcommittee to talk, like, what's the best options, whether vendor, software, or members and volunteers? Or do we want to bring information here? Or do we have like a volunteer to work on getting the
I would make the
information?
recommendation that at this meeting, we kind of fill everybody as to what the need is.
Yeah.
And then the next meeting, start discussing that, so it gives people time to digest
Okay,
what might be the best thing to do, not put their heads together and
that
come up
works.
with some ideas for the next meeting.
Perfect. All right. Next on the agenda would be Spooktacular. That's going to be coming in October. I believe it's going to be October soon. We're talking about October.
I think it's October 30th.
This is an
24th, I
interesting, Madam Chairman, this is an interesting part of what's been happening. The mayor's office has been very forward thinking and proactive. And they have a team down there that is absolutely fantastic, and the work that they have done to motivate. And even yesterday at Rivers Park for the preschool program, I would say that well over 300 or 400 people were in the parking
Absolutely.
at the park,
There
and it was beautiful.
It was
more than that.
it was, I
was
think,
more than that?
well beyond what they expected.
It was. I spoke with
Beautiful.
one of the owners who put the event on, and he said last year they had maybe 50 to 60 people. They were so overwhelmed that they had to continue it yesterday at their own shops. And then also today, some barbers had free haircuts at their.
Yeah.
And even beyond that, it has been my effort, and it has been the effort for a long time, to try to interest people who would get both caregivers and the disabled persons an opportunity to get out in our parks. We've got nice parks, and everything that we do, spectacular or the night out, which was very successful. It would be wonderfully awesome to see people who have difficulties that are evident, whether they're in wheelchairs or whether they're in a situation, but with their caregivers, their families, being out in our parks would be one of the most wonderful things that we could encourage for persons with disabilities. Also, we have the means of doing things if we can work together and if we can get the encouragement, because we can get sponsors. The two things that I've been concerned with is how facilities are accessible. We had a situation in the past year of problems with the access on some of the school parks, playgrounds. And that's a problem. And there are ways that can be solved. And on the basis that people can get together and make use of these areas in each neighborhood.
I agree. I think trying to advertise and promote this commission is going to be a great opportunity for us to like build that relationship that you've already built with so many people, Al, but build it with amongst the constituents, so that we build that relationship, so they know who we are, they know who to call if there's a concern, and see how we can help brainstorm. We were looking to see if we had a couple people that wanted to help plan our to be a vendor at the spectacular.
We are going to need a table, and you guys don't have an easy up awning, but if our treasurer wants to allow some money out of your budget, I can work with her on how to do that, but you guys will be able to purchase one for the commission going forward. I will just make a quick, I don't know if you can all hear me. Just to clarify with everybody, the only person in the city that's allowed to ask for donations for anything having to do with a city event is Chloe Soto, who's the communications director for the mayor in the mayor's office. So as we go out and do community things, be very careful if we're asking people for donating candy or things to give out to the kids or whatever, because under our city ordinance and our charter, that's the only person that's allowed to solicit donations from the city. And I just don't want to see this commission get into a lot of trouble in the future violating that. So she is the person that you would need to go through. But last year we served about 2,100 kids at Spooktacular. So what it is, it's like a big, almost Wilhelmina, like a big trunk and treat. So we set up at, I believe it's October 24th. It's from 5 to 7, I believe. Let me get my calendar. August, September. Yeah, I think it's October 24th. It's a Thursday night at Zott Park. Chloe has done a phenomenal job. So they get candy donations up the wazoo, and they give out, but I mean, kids were leaving with pillowcases full of candy last year, and it's just a great event of the kids. They love it. We had about 2,100 kids. HR does a table every year to try to get people to do job applications and just promote the jobs we have. We're doing little handout things. Chloe's got candy. Polish National Credit Union gives out like glow sticks. It's a really fun night to be out with the kids for trick-or-treating. You're welcome to dress up, make it fun, whatever you guys want to do. But I think it's a really great way for you guys to start promoting the commission, especially with building that relationship with the city councilors too, is being able to really, they see you with the city councilors and out there being active. It's going to start really sending the message that the commission is active and really wants to do
we
stuff.
have to go to Chloe to get candy? I mean, is that
No, what I would do is so the commission can, if you all want to just go buy a bag at BJ's and donate, if you want to buy some out of your budget, you've got money to work with out of your budget for the year that we give you. So there's just a process that you have to use to submit to get that paid. And it's not a big absorbent amount of money. So there's a lot of stuff coming during the year. So I can work with you on that, but you're going to want to really be frugal because there might be trainings coming in January, February, and March through Mass Office of Disability or through the National ADA Symposium that we're going to want to have you guys partake in, and it might be a $100 fee to do the training. So then we're going to have to take that out of your budget, and we don't want to drain it for a spectacular and then have nothing left for the rest of the year. And then next year, when I do my budget review with the city council, what we do is we talk as a commission. I try to put in a realistic budget number. And of course, budgets have to be approved through our city council. But if I can show the city council that this commission is really active and they're doing a lot in the city and they've got the reputation and the recognition and they're doing a lot with that, needing that funds to help promote them, then a lot of times they'll help us by approving that budget amount. So it's just, we got to make sure we're realistic, but I can work with you on the process we have to go through to do that. So
It is October 24th, at Zot Park from
I am
4 to
almost
7.
positive it's the 24th.
Yeah, I just looked it up.
Yeah.
It's from 4 to 7.
4 to 7, okay. So you guys will need a table and possibly an easy up awning, because I know the tables we use for the city, those get used up really quick with the mayor's office and city council and a lot of other departments that need them, because facilities does all the setup of parks and recreation. So if somebody has like one of those big folding tables at home, or you might want to go to BJ's and buy one. I don't know how much they are, but the problem is when you buy it with the city funds, it's where do you store it? And we have to make sure that it's accessible, that if any of the commissioners need to use it for commission business, that it's accessible for them to be able to use, because we're using taxpayer funding to buy that. So therefore it has to be used. It can't be at Wilhelmina's house for a picnic on Saturday afternoon.
Right.
It's got to be used for events for the city or coffee hours or whatever you're doing. So that's just the thing that you guys would need to then talk about of how are we going to store that and what opportunities do we have. And I can help you a little bit with that.
We have, we can think about this and talk about it as we get closer. We'll have to have a plan for the next meeting in September though, because October is right there. Any other questions or concerns regarding Spectacular? Absolutely.
So this commission will have a table.
Yeah. Yeah, it's never anything that's, I mean, I've never seen a chair that mandates like you have to be there, but you want to be present. You want to let people know. A lot of people come to me a resource, ask questions. Oh, geez, I didn't realize we had a disability commission. That's a good opportunity for them to hand those pretty blue flyers that Al had made years ago that talk about the commission, so that they're getting that literature out and they're seeing that and being able, you're there as a resource. Exactly. Yeah. So, but we understand that life happens and commissioners aren't tied to, you know, I'm city staff, so I really need to kind of commit myself to being there, but commissioners never obviously have to be in that position, so.
And again, it's something that we can rotate on too. So like,
Yeah.
if like a couple of us did one event, then another event, 2 other people can do it. It can be fluid kind of thing. Yes, Ortiz.
Or you go for an hour and.
I don't know if you guys know, but I have my own company, so I can use my table in my tent. I don't have a problem with that, instead of trying to wait for a
Okay.
table. At least for the Spectacular, I have a tent and a table.
Okay, great.
Actually, two.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay. Anything else regarding Spectacular? The next thing on the
Madam
agenda. Yes, sorry.
Steve had mentioned some time ago a little quirk at Spectacular last year. And it's part of my summary and effort to get more and more caregivers and persons with disabilities involved, especially the kids. And one of the things is accessibility for a wheelchair person or a person who has a physically limiting, you know, where they are not able to, they aren't usually in a wheelchair. They're usually very, you know, have difficulty moving, but they're not in a wheelchair. Or you have disabled people who have illnesses that we cannot see, but which make them either frightened or concerned, or parents or caregivers concerned or have to take care of them. that if we could ask Spectacular to include, possibly or look into including a couple of pleasant, low-grade, spectacular entertainments or abilities for this particular group and
So
make
if I
that
can
possible.
elaborate on that, Al, can I elaborate? Can I elaborate?
Yes.
Yeah. So last year they did a hayride around Zot Park. Kids had an absolute blast. But the problem is the kids that were in wheelchairs and special needs were not able to be accessible to get onto that hayride because you had to be up onto the back of the
Right.
big tractor that they were pulling around. I did mention to one of the planning people what was their plan, and she kind of said, well, there's no way we can get them on there because there's no ramp or anything. And as we do the hayride, we can't keep doing a ramp up and down. That's the mindset we need to change, is the kids, we need to have, my responsibility as an ADA compliance officer is to make sure that city events, city buildings, and city services are accessible to every citizen in our city. So how do we do that? We need to start advocating for that and being like, these kids need to be accommodated. So we need to find a way to make that happen. So if you guys as a commission would like to get together and maybe send a letter or have Amy call and say, hey, we heard Spectacular is coming, great opportunity with the city, but what are we doing for the kids that might need accessibility issues for hayride? Or is there an alternative thing we can do that they can partake in for everybody to be able to be involved? Because we want to make sure that we don't have that family that says, my kid can't do this because, and that's where we get into the liability and the legality and civil rights issues that then I need to work with for compliance. So
Do we know the activities that they have planned, or have they they have like a sketch?
they have a committee that plans Spectacular, but we have not been involved in any of the planning with that.
Is there a way we could get involved with it or talk to somebody about being involved with it?
Chloe would be.
Monica or Chloe in the mayor's office would be your best resource to reach out to that. I know there's a group of city employees that make up that committee. I'm just not sure who they all are. I know Monica and Chloe are two of them that are on there, so.
Okay. So if we could talk to them about that, because the other thing Al brought up too about like kids with sensory stuff too. I know a lot of times people will do, like events will do like a sensory free kind of event, like
Mhm.
either an hour before something or, at something, so something to consider for them too.
Yeah, my son's old school used to
Yeah,
Yeah.
do the actual event. They had the sensory.
right. So it would be great if we could talk to either Monica or Chloe and kind of see if we can talk to them about the planning committee. Is there anybody that wants to do that, or I can do that? You want to?
Oh, mine.
Okay.
I mean, I think we should have more than one person though.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, so Nancy and Wilhelmina.
Okay.
Perfect.
And then if we can just kind of see like how can we get involved? Make sure we have a voice at the table or can
Keep me
review.
informed, please.
Absolutely.
And I would say it's not really asking them to revamp and reinvent the wheel,
Absolutely not.
but how can we modify it or make it so the kids can feel like they take part in it? That's what
I think they want to know from us though too, like what kind of things we would like to see. And we need to tell them as soon as possible so that they can
They can think
Okay.
about it. Yeah.
get what they need for the,
Yes, I know Chloe's in planning stages now with
yes, yes.
a lot of that, so.
So I think we have to think about like what would we like to see for those individuals? What would those individuals like? What could be supplemental? What other activities could be done? I can do some research and send it to you guys and others who want to do research. We can send it all together. That way, when you guys talk to her, you have some ideas, or we can talk to however.
Maybe
I'm
some type of fun parade. Like
Because I know
everybody
they
can be part
have
of
like an area, like last year they had it like at the
yeah.
Yeah,
like, stuff
Yep.
like that. They had a section.
Okay.
And if you are ever looking for good ideas, I encourage you to go on the website and look at a place called Morgan's Wonderland, San Antonio, Texas. So we have a gentleman in Texas by the name of Gordon Hartman that was a builder, and his daughter has special needs, and he actually was on vacation with her a number of years ago, and kids at the pool didn't want to play with her because she looked different because she had her disability, and he felt really bad that she really had no kids to be able to do anything with and be with the other kids. So he and his wife started a foundation and built a all-inclusive amusement park resort in San Antonio, Texas, that's like worldwide. Like people come from all over the world to go there. If you look it up, it's just phenomenal. It's open to all abilities. He wants families to be able to come and all work together and just enjoy their time if they're there. He allows them, and if you have a disability, it's on the honor system. You don't pay a fee to go in there. So if you go and you buy a ticket, that's great. But if you say I have a disability, they say it's free of charge, and he trusts that people are, because he gets a lot of grants and funding from different sources. But if you look up Morgan's Wonderland on the internet, it's just something really, our parks need to start really looking at all-inclusive stuff. Is just a phenomenal what he's built in that organization.
Next on the agenda is poll accessibility. We have the election coming up in November. And so Al, I know you work on the registrars, right? Voting? The voting?
Yes,
You're on the commission?
yes.
Right.
And when I voted Saturday, I was pleased because I made the observation. They know me. They know I'm a troublemaker. I mentioned to them that I was concerned about what was available. I knew what was available in the past. Our city clerk's office has been very meticulous about making it a pleasant, helpful experience for everybody, and especially for someone that is concerned or needs assistance, and yet it requires privacy. We are very concerned about the privacy and the propriety of voting, especially this year because of the extra special importance of our national election.
Mm-hmm.
They did have a special place, and they did have an accommodation. And I would encourage anyone with a disability to take advantage of our early voting. The accessibility in City Hall is perfect. The assistance that can be given assuring your privacy and assuring your convenience and taking time is provided by 6 clerks. And as I said, I commend the city clerk and his office for doing a great job every year. The one additional thing that we want to be sure of is that we on this commission have the opportunity to visit each of the polling sites to make sure that there is special accommodation and consideration for brief handicapped parking, accessibility close to the entrance, and special services inside that would meet the needs of persons with disabilities.
So Al, do you know when they do the setup for all those polling places? Is that the day before?
Usually, I believe it's usually within 2 or 3 days because they have the system set up, and I believe the warden in each ward and precinct is responsible for bringing everything together and assuring that if a voter has difficulty, no matter what it is, whether it's a disability or just confusion or whatever it is, I've witnessed by being at voting ever since I could vote, that they always have been more than solicitous to assisting and making sure everybody can vote comfortably.
So the documents that I have for ADA accessible voting, what to look for when we're out, I'm assuming, I shouldn't assume, but I know I talked to the city clerk's office a number of months ago. They said they were pretty good with being ADA accessible.
Yes.
I'm more concerned about outlying facilities, i.e. an Elks Lodge, a KFC Lodge, than I am a school, because a school is going to have the ramps and the walkways and the whatever we need. Would it benefit us to get a group out to do those inspections and just make sure with the contentiousness of this election, not running into problems from the Board of Registrars, is that something you would recommend?
Right,
And maybe a group of us do that
yes,
the day or two
Chairman of the
before.
Board of Registrars of Voters, yes, I would be extremely interested because of this year, that even if there's contention, even if there's no contention, at least we have the opportunity to say, we proactively went out
Right.
as a Commission on Disability and made sure that everything possible was done for a person with any limitations.
Do we know how many off-school voting sites we have?
I think there are about 3 or 4.
Okay.
Because I know in Ward 7A and B is in the Legacy Church, the former Nativity Church, open area, auditorium or open area. And
I know Ward 2 is at KFC up on Granby Road. So.
They're very accessible, pardon.
Yeah.
Yes, and the accessibility is, to all of them, is no stairs, and it's very accessible. I know Ward 4A and B at the Baptist Church in the Falls is always been easily accessible.
That's Ward 5, Al.
I mean Ward 5, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I vote at Ward 5. It's
Right.
the Central Baptist.
Yes, Ward 5, I'm sorry.
So I guess my question is, do we want
I've
to
lived in so many wards in Chicopee, I forget which one is where. Yes.
Have something, Nancy? Are you sure? Okay.
Words.
I guess the question is, should we ask some people to go and check these off polling sites? If we can get a list of them, maybe at the next meeting.
I believe we should probably just make a brief stop, probably check with the city clerk and see when the facilities are available, and at that time make a quick round to everyone. I don't think whether it's school or not, I think we should be aware of the accessibility in every polling place, every ward precinct.
I do believe I have 2 copies of the accessibility book that shows like what to look for at the polling sites. If we need to make more, we could probably make those, but I've got 2 that I can give to groups to be able to go out and check all that too.
I don't think it would take that long to move from.
It shouldn't.
And the other thing is, I would say that probably, there are, most of the places have a few handicap parking spots which are close to the accessibility, which may obviate problems with brief handicap parking. But it might be a good idea, because we have never done this in the past. I think it would be good, and then put it in this year's update of the city.
Right.
The city accommodation for things.
Yeah, I just don't know if we're going to be able to get that done now, because September 5th is like next week so we may need to shoot for November, which would give us time at the September meeting.
Yeah.
So,
Well, the only concern I have, and this is a great concern of our commission, is that it doesn't take much to create controversy. And all it takes is one complaint to open the door to controversy and criticism, often which is not warranted, but by the time the situation is really analyzed and is okay, a lot of damage has been done.
Right.
I think if we could manage to work with the city clerk, probably if he goes around, I mean, I would be happy, for example, as chair of the Board of Registrars and perhaps a member of the board, just go through every precinct. So I can arrange with the city clerk perhaps. So that
do we have
can
anybody that would be willing to assist?
Pardon?
Mitch, I think Mitch was gonna assist also.
Yeah, well, I just wanna know, you wanna know the procedure when they're setting up? How many days before, or?
Yeah, I think that would be helpful to know. They're setting up now?
I mean, for November.
Oh, yeah.
They usually set like a couple of days before the election, don't they?
For the primaries, they're setting up now.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we probably could make it around with no problem. We wouldn't be long at any location because voting isn't long at any location. You're in and out.
Right.
And it's empty. And we're not, I mean, other than the workers, you
Mhm.
know, or with the city clerk office representative, I think we could work with whatever and give a report that could be included in the city assessment.
Okay, cool.
Great. Thank you. Any other questions or topics to talk about regarding the poll accessibilities? Right. Going to number 11 is our ADA compliance officer update. So I'm going to turn it over to Steve.
Great, thanks, Amy. So, really glad to be able to share this update with you tonight. So first of all, I'm really happy to announce to all of you that I am now an officially certified ADA compliance officer or ADA coordinator. So I've been through all my training, passed my exam. It's a 3-year certification. So every time that I work on stuff, it's working toward my certification to keep it going after the 3 years. So first thing I want to talk about is our National ADA Symposium. I had the great honor to represent the city in Minneapolis at the National ADA Symposium this year in June. Phenomenal organization. So for those of you that don't know, every region of the country has what's called an ADA center. So there's a Northeast, there's a Southwest, a Midwest, a Great Plains, a Northwest. They're all across the country. And those are set up for people in general, businesses, municipalities, whatever, to be able to reach out to a local resource to find out information about ADA compliance. They all get together and take their funding that they get from the federal government and put together what's called the National ADA Symposium every year, which brings ADA coordinators and compliance officers, people from highway DPW, schools, architects, anybody that deals with what they call accessibility and ADA design or whatever. It's a 4-day conference that they have this year. It's going to be in Atlanta, Georgia. And it is workshop after workshop after workshop of phenomenal information. It's presenters from the Department of Justice who oversee all of the different ADA guidelines and rules and regulations. So you're hearing from the U.S. attorneys that are working in the Civil Rights Division, what you can't do, what you can do, what gets you into trouble, what to stay away from. So it's a really great resource for me as an ADA compliance person to be able to bring that back and say, folks, they're really serious. We need to do this. So it was a great opportunity. I brought back a lot of good information about different companies that are out there doing, the compliance work where we can use them for audits, the software we can buy to help us do the audits and transition plans. So I would like to see us possibly try to send somebody next year. Your budget is very limited, but if we could find a way to tweak something so that we could bring a commissioner with us to be able to experience the National Symposium, I just think it would be really beneficial for this group. They do have a virtual one that they will do next year. That's a 3-day virtual. That's a little bit less than the actual conference itself, but that means sitting in a room like this for 6 or 7 hours for 3 days during a week and watching all the stuff that's happening. So it might be something we want to think about, but I would really highly encourage you guys to look at that. ADA compliance for websites. So one of the newest things that's happening is the federal government has now come out with a mandate that by 2026, all municipalities and state and federal websites be ADA compliant, meeting what's called WCAG 2.0 or 2.2, which is the accessibility that they need for screen readers and people that might have visual issues to be able to. So what's going to happen is those websites are going to have to make sure that when somebody goes onto them, it's pointing them to where they need to go based on if they're using a screen reader, if they're using, some people might have a forehead thing where they tap on the screen. It's an ADA compliance piece. So I'm really happy to announce that Chicopee is going to be ahead of the game. We've already contracted with Civic Plus, who's our group that does our city website here. We've already signed a contract with them, and they're going to start that process for us, so we don't have to wait until 2026 at a higher cost and waiting last minute when everybody's going to be dying for Civic Plus to go do their website accessibility. What they're going to do is they're going to now come into our city website. They're going to go through every single PDF, every single page from every commission, every department, everything that's on there. And they're going to go through and make sure it's compliant, meeting the new guidelines from the federal government. It's going to point to where it needs to point to. So screen readers. So if somebody goes on to do an application, it's going to be able to be a screen reader piece where it can read to them as they're filling it out, which right now we don't have. So for compliance for our city is going to be phenomenal because we're going to be ahead of the curve in making sure that we're meeting those guidelines a year in advance from 2026. So I really give kudos to our chief information officer who really worked with me closely on that. We reached out and put our heads together and said, let's make this happen now before the price goes up and it gets even worse. So we've signed the contract for that, and they'll be starting in the next couple of months with looking at our website. So our ADR Disability Commission site that's on the page that has all that useful information, they're going to go in there and purge what's not useful. They'll let us know what needs to be added, what needs to be taken out. If it needs to be something that directs them to another link, they'll make sure that that link is there. So our website will be totally compliant once they're done, and then we'll pay them to maintain it every year after that. So that'll be good. And then one of the other things I just wanted to bring up to everybody is I was speaking with a constituent that called. She was having some mobility transportation issues, and I've been working with her over the past couple of weeks. But one of the things that she had brought out to me was she was really troubled because she's elderly, she's disabled, her husband's disabled, she's bedridden, homebound. Her only means of transportation is emergency medical transport through an ambulance company. But on top of that, she runs into issues where in the winter she has a ramp that goes to her house to get her in and out of the house, and somebody comes and shovels her ramp and they charge her $200. Or she needs to have her grass cut and they come and charge her $150. And she said, this is like, she said it's got to be price gouging. Is that illegal? And so I kind of felt really bad for her. But one of the things I got to thinking about was us putting our heads together and seeing if there's any type of grant funding or anything we might be able to do like maybe a volunteer brigade that would be able to go to people's houses and help them with shoveling or cutting the grass or something that we could kind of encourage. And I know there's liability involved with that. Everybody says, oh, you know, what happens if they go and get hurt or whatever? Those are things we have to talk through. But how great it would be for the city to say, if you have a disability and need assistance, give us a call and we've got a group that wants to go help you. And I would love to see us be able to kind of get to that point. So maybe it's something we want to think about long term, that there are residents out there that need that assistance, and that's something we could really offer them to make it truly accessible for them to be able to do what they need to do in the city too. So just something to keep in mind for the future.
That would be an excellent thing to talk to VOC or other possibilities.
It's just the fact of the liability, which is always the big elephant in the room.
I understand that, but I think especially for older youth, maybe pre-job, 18, 19 years old, 20 years old, that may be a situation, as well as the $1,000 senior discount or veterans discount or senior
the work-off program,
taxes. That could be an opportunity for them to be a friendly neighbor type of thing. And I believe in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, because we had researched this in the past, because we had a similar thought of this several years ago. And the point that was made was that in Massachusetts, you are protected under the Good Samaritan Act.
Okay.
And if we could locate that, I think that would be our cover.
Yeah.
Now, normally in our experience, the young folks, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 years old, would be mowing lawns, would be helping bring groceries in, would be helping do things that is not construction, but would be doing services. It's a wonderful experience, and they would fall under the Good Samaritan Act, because this is done, or cooperation with the churches.
There would just have to be some type of
committees. Pardon?
We would have to make sure that there was some type of safety guidelines though in place for
Well, I think
those residents.
what happens is now when there are volunteers in the churches, the roles that have changed is that, for example, anyone working with children, anyone working in charitable work, generally where you're taking care of people and you're responsible for assisting others, that you are required to have a Corey. But I believe the diocese and the individual churches that have outreach do this as a practice now. And I think if we worked with the church community, the religious community, we probably would find some opportunity. And there are situations that we at the Knights of Columbus or the Elks or the Moose, which are very active in community service. I think when a situation shows up, because we in our own councils and even veterans groups, they ask if someone is sick, let us know. If they need help, let us know. If they need rides, let us know. I think this is very worthy, and we can encourage, if we can get these groups together, that would be perfect.
Yeah. Cool. Good.
Problem is funding. If we could get, I mean, even, under the Disability Commission, we have the opportunity to ask for worthy grants. And with $5 billion sitting in the state at this particular new time for applying for grants, if we have something good to go, we can have a fund available and even in the city and have it as a rotating fund that we could accept contributions as well as the grant seed money.
I think that's great. These are great ideas. I think maybe for our next meeting, we can talk more about how we could think about more in depth the volunteer brigade, and then maybe even talking about those community service clubs such as the Elks and Moose Lodge, and other things. I'm a little concerned about youth, just because they'd be going to people's homes, and that's, I think, where there might be some slippery slopes and some liability issues. So I wouldn't want to put, a child or a teenager, at risk, because you don't know whose home they might be going to, because anybody could need assistance. So I think
I understand that, and I agree with you, Madam Chairman, because the problem that we have nowadays is so different from what we've even had a few years ago.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, we wouldn't let some people into our homes, even if they look like a relative anymore.
Absolutely. So I think we just need to flush that out a little bit and think about it, and then maybe talk about it. I think the other thing I had a question on, Steve, regarding the ADA compliance and the website, are they also going to look at, I know they're talking about the Chicopee.gov website, but what about the information that we're putting out on our social media page too, like making sure that that's ADA compliant?
Yes, they will go through all that as well.
Okay.
And
Great.
they're also looking at the school site
Perfect.
as well. So it'll be school, city, and social media.
Great. And I going to social media, thinking about, like, there is a Facebook for this commission, but it would be really great if we
Yes,
could.
there is, the commissioner who I assigned that opportunity to is not here. But
Okay.
he has the technical background, and I've encouraged him to make some changes, and I would have no problem working with him to upgrade. We have a lot of things that have been in the works to
Let's get it
do
on
that.
Facebook, definitely.
Because that's important. That's an important.
I think it's just not Facebook too, it's the Instagram and the other social media platforms. I think once we can get advertised, because it'd be great, how great would it be to advertise that we're at the Spooktacular and we are advertising this sensory corner that Nancy talked about, and then that is shared with the city of Chicopee and so forth, and and the school committee Facebook kind of stuff too. So I
I
think
nominate our secretary to look into that.
so I think having access to that Facebook page is going to be, we need to update it, and we need to make sure that we all kind of maybe like it, not forcing anybody to like it,
And
but
combined with that, is a kind of a threesome. It's excuse me.
Al, public meeting.
It's kind of a number of things at the same time, and that is the social media, the different platforms, the information that's accessible on the social media, like inserting the PSAs, the availability of being able to download stuff from our website and from social media, and also the ability that social media has to send information to someone else or to a group or to another site.
Right, the sharing aspect.
Is marvelous. The sharing and the exporting and the exchanging of information, making it what they say viral, making it possible for as many people as possible, even in their own personal social interaction on the media. Also, I've been given an opportunity to do a weekly article for the Chicopee Register. And now that you've relieved me of some wonderful responsibilities and you've got some more work, I would like to pursue that, and I would like to have the opportunity to promote what we're doing.
I think that'd be great. I think it'd be helpful if we all saw what was being published, and so that we could just make sure that we're all on the same page with it prior to it going out.
Yeah,
that would be helpful.
Yeah, because what I would do is I would do presentations ahead of time to review with the editor, and because they have to, the editorial board has to agree too, but they are willing to give me a small space, so that when we want to promote something or do something or exchange something. So what I could do is when I'm creating something, I can present it to you that you could sign off on it and say, we're agreeing, or make any changes so that we can do some things.
I'm just concerned, Commissioner Kendall, are you going to be able to fit all of your wisdom in that little space and paper?
No.
Great, thank you.
I have a question about the Facebook page. Will people be able to know how to get in touch with the commissioners on the Facebook page also?
Supposedly, yes, because we would be on there. I mean, that was part of the process to do it, and Commissioner Busquet was going to be doing some things. But during the past year, he has lost some family. During the past few years, he has lost family member after family member, 1 or 2 to COVID, and it has been a challenge for him. So I've been kind of considerate.
Can we get the login information so that while he's if he's unavailable, that we can help him out with it?
Sure, I'll mention it to him.
Perfect, that would be great. That way we can all help him, so it's not just falling on one person. It'd be great if we can have a couple of people being able to keep that updated.
Yeah, I have no problem in that, because that's one of the easiest ways to keep getting good information out. And we don't have to go into a heavy thing, but because nobody's going to read anything long, it's got to be bang, bang. Just like the PSA, it was something that didn't involve you for a very long period of time, but you can see how the interns were able to put it together and edit, and it was edited and professionally directed and just made a statement. If we can just make a statement, we're not asking for anybody to change their opinions. We're asking for their help.
My only concern with the PSA is we weren't asked to go to breakfast as well. So
You what?
we weren't invited to the breakfast that you went to.
It was lunch.
I just want
The
I
selective
just
commissioners.
mention that I did not apply for the reimbursement of the cost at
Okay,
that
that's good.
particular
Thank you.
time.
Our city auditor was very happy.
I mean, to know that.
All right, seeing that there's only about 10 minutes left, we'll go to commissioner updates. We'll start
Could I just make a strong request that, we know that Mr. Al has a lot of wisdom. Could he go last? So
that was
everybody
my suggestion. I was gonna go Paul, skip Al and go this way, and then go back to Al. That was my thought. Paul, do you have any updates for us?
No, I really don't. I'm just learning what's going on here.
All Paul has to do is sign his letter again and make it current to the mayor and be reappointed.
Great.
We look forward to that happening.
The same thing, actually, same thing.
Well, they're skipping you out.
And the same thing for Commissioner Busquet, because I asked him to resubmit.
Could we unplug his mic? Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Wilhelmina?
Seeing that I'm a newcomer, I have
Speaking to your mic.
Hmm?
Can't hear you.
Speaking of the mic,
Oh,
so
you-
they can hear you, yeah.
now. Because I'm a newcomer, I have nothing to report, no updates, but I'm looking forward to working with this commission and bringing disability wants and needs to the forefront.
Thank you. Ortiz?
I don't have any updates. I just want to say thank you to my commissioners for making me the treasurer.
Mr. Vice Chair?
I just want to thank everyone for confiding in me for vice chair, and on the updates, we'll probably have something for you in regards to the past projects that me and Al are trying to handle.
Awesome, thank you. Steve?
I just want to congratulate everybody, for having a full commission. This is like a historic event. I get to wear two hats, so I'm really proud because I get to serve with you guys as a commissioner, but I also get to help the city on ADA compliance issues, and I look forward to working with all of you. My staff in HR is a little bit more demanding than you guys will be, so thank you. But I look forward to working with all of you.
Thank you. Nancy?
Thank you.
You have nothing?
Madam Chairman, what about you?
I just want to say thank you to all of you and congratulations to all of you. And Al, very big shoes to fill here. You know, you have a lot of knowledge and great, and I look forward to learning with you a lot. And I'm really excited about a lot of the work that we are set to do and putting a lot of structure on things and really helping the city of Chicopee be more accessible to everyone and people being aware of being more disability friendly, right? And understanding what that means. And it's not always a person in a wheelchair or mobility, but just also just being kind because you don't know what somebody else is going through. So I think the more that we can get our faces out there, the more that we can really advocate, just kind of be in the background and giving knowledge, that's helpful. I know, I see Al looking at the time. I promise I won't go on. Go ahead, Al.
I just have one thing really quick.
I have, okay.
I just want to thank Al. I started here last July in my role, and he has been an instrumental person to really help me learn this whole ADA side of things and city stuff in general. I've known Al since I was about 8 years old. We'll tell you fun stories later because it's way too long to discuss. But Al, I do want to thank you for all of your work that you've done on the commission. I know you've dedicated, along with Miguel, a ton of time to doing this. I hope as Chairman Emeritus, you share your wisdom with us, but also have the chance to enjoy some time with your beautiful daughter, Mary, and other adventures that you want to do, and know that we're all in good hands and you're here if we need you.
I'm not leaving.
Okay, good.
In fact, I'm going to have an investigation. I mean, that seems to be the thing with elections these days. Nothing is left alone.
The vote was
It's
rigged.
great to be part of an American tradition and to pass along not only the banger, but also to pass along the support and the encouragement. There's a lot of stuff, Amy, that has to be brought together. And, I'm willing to, and now I'm free and clear. You can make the decisions. I can just keep bringing you things.
And hopefully, at least every week you have computer issues, so you don't feel left out. That you.
You know, I just, I appreciate the technology when it works for me. A friend of mine, 8.5 hours from me, in another country, was able to recover 70,000 files that I had worked on since 2016. And I was so relieved. He kept assuring me as I was losing through the computer and through the little jiggies. He said, don't worry about it. I'll get it. And he comes in and he goes, and everything is, I mean, I'm seeing this thing move around and he's doing this, that, and the other thing. And within 2 hours, between 3 and 5 o'clock in the morning, because that's his day, we got everything back. So now all I have to do is find everything and get stuff. And as I find stuff and can put it together, I will give it to you and you will have it. I want to do two or three thank yous. I want to thank you, Steve, because you brought order out of chaos when you came. And the chief of police, before you had, Chief Major, before you had come here, had allowed me to use the 2 substations, Willimantic and Chicopee, as an office, as a storage, as a meeting place, as a place that we could have stuff together. You, when you came, opened and made wonderful changes in the HR office and made things available to me and people throughout the area and the city. Different departments have been excellent to me. And I use my own department to help me in many cases because they are part of the city effort. And as long as I can do something, I am glad to. The students were surprised to know my age because if I had $5 for everybody that told me that, what the heck are you doing out there doing your stuff? Because you should be home, you know, rocking and watching TV and not bothering anybody. But I prefer to be out bothering people because it takes me away from my own problems. Thank you very much, and best wishes to you, Madam Chairman, and to the new officers. And I'm here to help.
Thank you. Thank you.
So Al, I do have one question for you because I know you also live in Ward 3.
I live in Ward 7.
Oh, you're in 7.
I was in Ward 3.
Okay, so before we adjourn, who's in Ward 1? Is anybody in Ward 1? Okay, what about Ward 2? I'm in Ward 2. So let me put me, okay.
You're in Ward 2?
Yeah, Ward 3? Artis, that's you, right? You're on Chicopee Street?
I'm right behind Al.
She's 7.
Anybody in Ward 3?
We could loan her to 3.
I need somebody to take 3. Can
We
somebody
could
take
lend her
3?
to 3.
That's Susan Goff. So it's Chicopee Street and that whole area?
Yeah.
I'll take 3.
You want to take 3, so Ortiz? Okay, Ward 4? You're 4? Nancy? Okay, so 5 is Mitch. Ward 6, which is up Burnett Road. You take that, Paul? Ward 7, are we between?
Oh, wait a minute. Commissioner Busquet is in Ward 3.
He's in Ward 3?
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry. So we have somebody that we can take out of 3.
So, yeah, so Artis, do you want to do 7?
Oh,
Word 7.
Which is up,
I'm
that's
just-
Paul Crew, you're in 7. Okay, so Al's in 7. 8 is up off of Grattan Street with Gary Labrie as the counselor.
I'm off the street as well, but I'm lower than where they are. I'm closer towards,
Closer towards City Hall. So that's Ward 3. It might be
Ward
2.
3. Oh, okay.
Is that Hispanic school at all?
You know, you're talking about Ward 8 or Ward 9?
Well, Ward 8 is Gary Labrie. That's up Grattan Street area, so I need somebody that can take 8.
Elena, you
What's,
could probably
what's
take it.
9? What's 9?
The 9 is up for.
9 is up, that's up Memorial Drive, Mary
Oh,
Beth
I don't
Benny
want
Costello.
that.
Yeah,
8,
very.
I'll take 8.
Okay, so,
You said Groton Street?
yeah. So
Gary,
Gary
what was his
LeBray
last
is
name?
the counselor for that area. That's why if we can make the next city council meeting,
Mhm.
which is, September.
Well, they got the voting then, so they're,
Yeah, they may do it that, I'm not sure if they're gonna do like that Monday instead of Tuesday. I think it's,
Before-
yeah, so
while
it'd be
you're
the
looking-
3rd and the 17th. So let's plan on the council meeting for the 17th. If you all can plan on being there, then we can introduce you to your city councilors.
Number
I
17th.
might not be here.
Here, what time?
6:30.
Like
It's
I
all
said
still
before
always
when I
6:30.
got this city.
Number,
Okay. So the 9th, Ward 9 is,
Ward 9
Mary
is Mary
Beth.
Beth Costello.
can you take,
So I'm in Ward 1. I had to look it up. 'cause-
oh, you're in Ward 1, okay.
So I can do Ward 1 and Ward 9 because I know we're down a commissioner.
Okay, so let's do Amy.
So what's the first name for Brisket?
Well, we don't have anybody for Artis yet.
Oh, okay.
Where's Ward 3?
But Gary, he said Gary's in Ward 3.
But Gary's not
Oh.
here.
Oh, yes, Gary's in Ward 3, I'm sorry. Gary Busquet is in Ward 3.
Put them both down for Ward 3.
Gary and Artis. Okay, so I've got Amy in Ward 1, I'm in Ward 2, Artis and Gary in Ward 3, Nancy's in Ward 4, Mitch is in Ward 5, Paul, you're gonna take Ward 6, Al's in 7, Wilhelmina is 8, and then I need somebody in 9, which is Fairview, Mary Beth Benny Costello.
I can do that.
Amy.
Do that, and if you have Commissioner Busquets, then he could probably take it.
Okay.
We thrive in 7.
So all of you, so Amy, you're going to have Arriaga, I can't think of her first name. No, Shirley. No, Shirley is the state representative. What's the sister's name? Arriaga is her last name. Okay.
Okay.
And Mary Beth Benny Costello. And then there's 4 at-large, so the at-large, if they have anything for those areas, will also call you.
Okay.
I have Shane Brooks, Gary and Artis. You guys are with Sue Goff. She's the counselor for Ward 3. Nancy, you got Mr. Ballack here. Mitch, you've got Fred Krampus.
Yeah.
Paul is Sam Shumsky. That's Ward 6. Al, you've got Paul Crochet, Bill Crochet. And then Wilhelmina is Gary LeBray. He's an 8. So each of those wards also have, so the 4 at-large is Bob Zagorowski, President LaFlamme, Jerry Roy, and Tim Wagner. So if any of those 4 call you in addition to your council that you're kind of working with, then you would help them as well because they're the whole city. So if they get a call from somebody, say in Ward 3, you would have to help them as well.
so does the committee meet in this room also?
They meet in the auditorium on the 3rd
That's
floor.
Okay, okay.
So what'll happen is I'll introduce you to everybody on the 17th. I'll send the list out to Frank.
Okay,
Frank's gonna let the city councilors know that we've assigned commissioners to kind of partner with them. And then what you wanna do is kind of get contact information, build a friendship with that counselor, and let them know if they have a ward meeting, let you know so you can be at that ward meeting. So they wanna incorporate you into there, so you guys are working as a team.
what
In
was
that ward?
Gary's last name?
Gary
again?
LeBray,
Yes.
On
'Cause I
Lorraine,
want to make sure I have it.
and-
I'm gonna make
he might
got
be,
my email, right?
yeah,
Yes, I do.
Okay.
yeah.
I have yours.
He's kind of heavy set, jolly guy with a kind of
I
balding.
do not.
Madam
I
Chairman,
don't have yours.
Madam Chairman.
Sorry?
Before we close, I just have to make a quick run. But before we adjourn, I'd just like to have a setup so that we can go, you want me to contact the city clerk and we'll make the inspection tour before the primary?
If you want to, yeah. I've got the books, I'll bring them in, so.
All right, and I vote for adjournment.
And then our, Wilhelmina, can I get an email address, because I don't have yours?
Do we want to do an adjournment and then we
Yeah,
can
Yeah.
get off Zoom? Perfect.
I second that. Oh, motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Awesome.
Aye, okay.
Thank you, guys.